Good day. Okay, so I've just spent the last hour writing. I do write, but I generally make video because I'm lazy. Um, but I don't know. So there's been a number of things. Just to kind of give you a bit of a prequel to this, my flow, the information that I kind of channel over the past few months has gradually been changing. So predominantly it's been about tarot and using that in a really kind of real-time way. But something else has been coming in over the past few months, and something else now is starting to come in, and it's all about how we use our minds. So I started to write. I thought, you know what, I'm going to write a blog. I haven't written a blog for ages, and the blogs I have written have been brief, to say the least. As I started to write this blog about the mind, a whole kind of workshop, course, book just kind of downloaded. Many years ago, I read one of the classics of energy medicine, the Yellow Emperor's Mind Seal Classic. Okay, and it is to do with sealing the mind against negativity, against illness, against failure. Okay, and that was probably 20 odd years ago, probably around about the same time that I first read the Celestine Prophecy, which I've just been rereading. Interesting. Okay, so you can go ahead and read the blog when I post it up. It is still a framework because there's much more to add to this. But what's come out of it is some really cool and interesting concepts. So, people often talk about guarding against negativity, okay? You know, your mind. What is your mind? For me, just for me, the mind is the field of potential. We are all infinitely potent. Infinitely potent. Whatever you can think, you can create. And I've used this analogy on a number of occasions recently. Somebody sat watching Star Trek in '66 and they went, wow, I want to live in a world like that. I want like these tablets. And now we've got them. I want these tiny communication devices where you can talk to people. We've got it. We've even got a kind of replicator in the 3D printer. So when we stretch reality, you know, whatever you can imagine, you can create a version of. That's the tarot card, the magician. That's what that really means. So we are potential. We are also belief, and we're also perception. So when my potential becomes affected by my belief, my perception, both outward and inward, I will limit my potentiality. I remember spent some time working in hospitals, spoke to one of the medics. Now, medics normally come from a particular background, particular stability, moneyed, you know, well educated. This girl grew up on a council estate in Stockport. So if you're not living in the UK, that would kind of be like a little bit like the projects, okay, in the US. So a less than auspicious start in life. But she didn't let that affect her potential, because the belief and the perception without and within would be that you don't have the money, you don't have the background, you went to a state school, you weren't privately educated, etc, etc. But that didn't matter to her, because she just tapped into her potential and became the most the most amazing doctor. So there are 3 stages to this process of sealing the mind against negativity, basically. We all know somebody, don't we, that says, it's never going to work, I'll do it anyway, but it will fail, and then it fails, and then they rejoice in the I told you so. And you go, but you made that happen. Why don't you just change your mind so that you can make it work? Oh, it won't work. Okay, so that's belief. Alright, belief that I'm going to fail. Perception, it's all difficult, limits your field of potential. So the first step to regaining your potential is to become the seer of the thought, because your mind is not your brain. Your mind is not your mental body. In my worldview, we have 4 bodies. Material body, we know a little bit about that. Mental body, that sits around here, weighs you down, can cloud, distort, refract, even reflect completely off. The emotional body, that exists within the subtle body, that gets in the way of your potential and your reality. Sit with me now, have a thought, think about something that makes you happy. Feel the way that you lift and grow and become more powerful. Then think about something that makes you sad, makes you sink down. Let's think about happy thoughts again, right? So that's how your emotional body interfaces with your material, physical. And then the final body is the spiritual body, the subtle body. The Sanskrit word for it is Chit Akash. I think Chit Akash, which is kind of like, it means it's kind of unborn, but at the same time eternal, unmade and yet perfect, can never be harmed, can never be, water cannot wet it, weapons cannot cleave it, fire cannot scorch it, right? You're invincible. The subtle body, the whatever you want to call it, the soul, the spirit, is invincible. Amazing. This is a slight tangent, and I'll come back to it in a minute, but like, we are stardust, right? We are made of stars. We are impossible, and yet there's billions of us all over the place, right? So, anyway, the seer is the consciousness that says, that is not a loving thought. That is not a potential for improvement. That is a limiting belief. I'm not going to let that in. Practice for maybe 10 minutes every day, and then gradually increase it until you're practicing it all day long. There's a line in one of the Star Wars films, one of the later ones, I think it's the first one, Phantom Menace, where Liam Neeson's character says to Ewan McGregor's character, be mindful of your thoughts. Oh, I was sat in the cinema with my kids and I'm like, you hear that? Be mindful of your thoughts. They're not yours. Your brain is just a thing that you have to learn to control. Just like a skilled swordsman uses, or swordswoman, uses that weapon. They learn, they practice, they control it. It can be the most amazing weapon of precision. Can guard against all kinds of things. You give a sword to a beginner, and they're more dangerous than a bomb. So, the seer, be mindful of your thoughts. Your thoughts are not you. Your thoughts are a disturbance in your potential based on your belief and your perception. So gradually, you become the seer. So you know, okay, that's just a thing. I don't need to act on it. I'm going to stay still. And as you become the seer, you become calm. Because there isn't all that mental BS floating around. And the next stage is to become the gatekeeper. That's like, you know what? Not only are my thoughts under control, but now energy that flows from me and to me, I'm going to check it all out. You're not coming in. Your name's not on the list. And then you'll find yourself gradually moving away from those negative influences, those toxic relationships, those dead-end practices that you just mindlessly did. And the final stage is to become the potential. Becoming your own potential means that you can manifest every version of that potential. Spontaneously into your life will appear the ideal people, the ideal places, the ideal opportunities, the ideal. So that you can be your potential. You can express it perfectly. And then your mind is sealed. Because no longer are you being influenced by events around you, pressing your belief buttons, pressing your perception filters. You are in a flow. I am all at once in the world, and the world is within me. I am all at once of the world, completely. And you just are there in that field of potential. So your mind is that field of potential. Okay? I made a video a little while ago now about, and I used the term loosely, okay? So don't think about this in its kind of Western religious concept. The mind of God, or the mind of potential, or the field of potential, and the mind of man. The field of jealousy, lack, war, hate, separation, judgment, right? So we need to live in that mind, the mind of God, not the mind of man, all right? Or the field of potential, rather than the field of limiting belief. So already, my experiences over the past few months are beginning to morph into something which could be judged as being a religious experience, to something now which is about having a real-time experience of potential. So this is going to be a course that I teach. I am going to write about it more. Whether it will become an actual book, I don't know, but it will be. Those of you that follow my WordPress site, for now that's the website. There is a new one being developed, but those of you that follow WordPress, I will put that the words up so it goes into the kind of idea of it in a little bit more detail. I mentioned in the blog Qigong. I mean, I've been a student of energy medicine for years, and I've learned and taught that, and with Qigong particularly, it's really about using the mind and the breath to bring in your energy, manipulate energy in a good way, to heal yourself, to strengthen yourself, to heal others. And that energy can be expressed in many ways, even through speech. You can heal through speech, you see. And like, some of you will be watching this going, this is a crock. But that's your belief that limits your potential. Okay. Now that belief may have come to you because you grew up in a very Christian or religious family where there's only one dude that can do the business. Everybody else is like down there. It's a limiting belief right there. Jesus said, even the least among you can do all that I do and more if you just have faith. They missed out the two important words at the end of that, in yourself. See? Even the least among you. That's kind of quite a definite statement, right? But we get told, don't we? No. You need to believe you're weak, because that's the only way you can be shepherded around. Even the concepts in religion, you know, the good shepherd, the lamb, the meek. Be like Jesus, right? Be meek, be a lamb, be shepherded. Yeah, see? That's how we get you. But it's alright, because being aware of that, you can go, well, actually, I can still have my faith. It amazes me, as a sideline, the amount of people that come to me for tarot who are regular churchgoers. And they go, yeah, I totally get it. I've got a great faith. I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, whatever. But I still know there's more. You see? Let's never limit ourselves. We come from the most improbable set of circumstances. Like you, my friend, just as I am. If you really sat down and did the math, we're impossible. But we're here in our droves, and we're out there as well in our droves. So the fact is, there's no such thing as impossible. There's only what we can't perceive. And that makes us believe there's impossible, and then that limits our potential. So spend some time listening to all the negative stuff your ego says to you. Even watch this back with a pad and paper and just make a tick every time part of you goes, that doesn't work, that's not right, that's too hard, that's, oh man. And then go, you know what, I can erase all those ticks and go, yes, yeah. What if this is my, I don't know, what if this is my higher self talking to me, reminding me of the stuff that I forgot? Yeah? What if it's that? I once heard Wayne Dyer. I once listened to a talk by Wayne Dyer, and he said, all I am and this is like a room of probably, I don't know, 2,000 people, way back in the late 80s. He said, all I am today is a product of your desire to remember what you forgot. And I thought, man, I love that. I absolutely love that. So the more aware you are, okay, everywhere you show up and everything that shows up in your life is a product of that desire, that need, that potential. Imagine living a life like that. Well, guess what? You already do. Awaken to it. Alright, that's fun. So please, like, comment below, okay? Now, I also am a therapist and a reader. And if you'd like to book a reading with me, and you'd like to explore how to get this potential fully flowing in your life, links below. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me for the last 16 or so minutes, and I look forward to your comments. I look forward to working with you. Peace.